You did it. You spent weeks, maybe even months, setting up what you thought was the perfect shrimp paradise. You've got the right plants, the right substrate, and your water tests look perfect. But you're staring at your tank day after day and seeing, well, nothing. No tiny baby shrimp, no buried females. It's frustrating, and you're starting to wonder what on earth you're doing wrong. Trust me, I've been there, and I know exactly how discouraging it is to put all that effort in and to just get radio silence. The first and most common reason you're not seeing babies is probably the most heartbreaking. They're getting eaten before you even know they're there. Baby shrimp are unbelievably tiny, practically microscopic right after they hatch, which makes them an easy snack for even the most peaceful fish. The community tank with a few guppies, neon tetras, or even a betta might look fine, but to a baby shrimp, it is a death trap. Live bears like guppies are especially known for hunting down little baby shrimp. But it's not just fish. There are other, sneakier predators that can wipe out a whole generation of babies without you noticing a thing. Hydra, those little tentacled things that look like they're from a sci fi movie, can sting and eat shrimplets. Planaria, the flatworms with those creepy triangular heads, are another well known threat. Even scuds, which a lot of people think of as harmless janitors, can outcompete and even munch on vulnerable baby shrimp. The fix here is pretty straightforward. Your safest bet, hands down, is a species only tank. A shrimp only setup gets rid of that number one threat and gives babies the best possible odds. But, if you're set on a community tank, the next best thing is to create a super dense, complex environment. Think of it as building a shrimp jungle. The more hiding spots you give them, the better their chances are to live. This is where plants become your best friend. Mosses are worth their weight in gold. They form a thick web that's perfect for shrimplets to hide and graze in. Floating plants give cover from above, and packing areas with fine-leaved stem plants creates endless places to vanish. Adding things like challah with all its natural holes, or just stacking up some rocks creates even more safe zones. A rock pile is a good way to do it. If you give them enough cover, you'd be surprised how many babies can make it, even with fish around. Alright, this next one is something every shrimp keeper's heard a freaking million times before, but its importance can't be overstated. Water parameters, but I want to reframe this for you. It's not about chasing perfect numbers, it's about achieving stable numbers. Shrimp hate sudden changes more than anything. A big, sudden water change, even with perfectly treated water, can cause a ton of stress, making females drop their eggs or just stop breeding entirely. Many shrimp keepers find that their colonies really only take off once they master the art of gentle maintenance. The rule is simple: prioritize stability above all else. So now let's quickly go over the key parameters in simple terms. Think of these as gentle guidelines and not strict rules. pH, GH, and KH. These are the big three. For Neocaridina or cherry shrimp, a pH between 6.5 and 8.0 is generally fine. A general hardness, GH, which is all about calcium and magnesium, which is vital for molting. Aim for a GH between 6 and 10, DGH, which is drops in your test kit. Carbonate hardness, KH, is like a buffer that keeps your pH from swinging around. For Neos, a KH of 4 to 6 is a good target. The main goal is to keep these numbers steady. These are by no means set in stone. In fact, my numbers are well out of these ranges, and I breed shrimp just fine. The focus should be keeping what you have the same. Ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. This part is non-negotiable. Ammonia and nitrite must always be 0. They're straight up toxic to shrimp. Nitrates should be kept low, ideally under 20 parts per million. A fully cycled mature tank is an absolute must. Shrimp should never be the first critters you add to a new aquarium. Temperature. Just like the other parameters, stability is way more important than a specific number. Most Neocaridina are happy anywhere from 64 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 18 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius. Higher temps can speed up their metabolism and breeding, but it might also shorten their lives. The key is just to avoid sudden temperature swings. I find anywhere in the 70s Fahrenheit. Anything that starts with a 7 Fahrenheit, you can't go wrong there. So, what's the game plan then? Be gentle. Routine water changes are great, but the key is consistency and avoiding shock. Stick to small, regular changes of about 10 to 20%. When you do add new water, drip it in slowly over an hour or two with some airline tubing. This minimizes any sudden shifts in temperature or chemistry. Test your water weekly, not to chase some magic number, but just to make sure nothing is changing drastically. Your shrimp don't need perfect water, they need predictable water. This next one is a simple mechanical problem that has probably claimed millions of baby shrimp. It's your filter intake. If you're using a hang-on back or canister filter, those little slots on the intake are like giant vacuum nozzles to a baby shrimp. They're so tiny and weak when they hatch they don't stand a chance against the suction. They get sucked right into the filter, and you'll never see them again. You might have tons of babies hatching, but if they're all ending up in your filter floss, your tank population will never grow. In fact, you might not even notice it's happening. The babies are so small they just disappear. If you have a female carrying eggs one day, she's empty the next, and weeks go by with no new life, this is one of the very first things you should check. Thankfully, the fix is super simple and cheap, and that's a pre-filter sponge. It's just a piece of coarse foam that fits right over your filter's intake. You can grab one from any fish store or online for just a few bucks. The sponge lets water flow through easily, but the pores are small enough to keep even the tiniest shrimplet from getting sucked in. And here's an added bonus. It'll prolong the life of your filter because it keeps the grit from getting sucked in and messing up your impellers. This one little addition does more than just save babies. It also adds a ton of surface area for beneficial bacteria to grow. It expands your filter, giving your tank's biological filtration a nice boost. And as a bonus, it becomes a 24/7 buffet for your shrimp. They'll be all over it, constantly grazing on the biofilm and little food particles that get stuck to the surface. Putting on a pre-filter sponge is one of the single most effective changes you can make in a shrimp breeding tank. It's a 5-minute job that can save whole generations of shrimp. Reason number 4 is a case of hidden hunger. We look at our adult shrimp. We see them eating pellets and think, they're fed, they're good. But we're not just feeding the adults, we have to feed the babies. And baby shrimp don't eat pellets, they eat biofilm. So what exactly is biofilm? It's that slimy, nearly invisible layer of bacteria, algae, and tiny organisms that grow on every single surface in your tank. The glass, the substrate, plants, rocks, everything, it's on everything. To us, it might look like the tank needs a good scrub. To a baby shrimp, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. It's their main, essential food source for the first few weeks of their lives. If your tank is too clean or sterile, the babies will hatch and simply starve to death. That's why you might notice some of my tanks don't look really clean and pretty and tidy. We're not after clean and tidy. We're after baby shrimp nurseries. This is a huge reason why a mature tank is so important for breeding shrimp. It's not just about the nitrogen cycle. It's about giving the ecosystem time to build up this complex, microscopic food web. A tank that's been running for several months will have a way richer and thicker layer of biofilm than a brand new setup. The solution is to start thinking in terms of surface area. The more surfaces in your tank, the more biofilm you can grow. This is another reason a planted tank is just better for shrimp breeding. Every single leaf is a dinner plate. Driftwood, rocks, even a simple gravel substrate dramatically increase the grazing area compared to a bare-bottom tank. Indian almond leaves are another welcome addition. As they break down, they release beneficial compounds and become a hotspot for biofilm that shrimp absolutely love. And finally, let's hit the most basic reason of all, one that's surprisingly easy to overlook. You might not have both guys and girls. It sounds obvious, but telling shrimp apart, especially when they're young, can be tough. Generally, females are larger, have a wider body, and are often more colorful. Males tend to be smaller, slimmer, and sometimes a bit duller in color. With Neocaridina, a mature female will often show a yellowish or greenish saddle on her back, which are her undeveloped eggs. The flip side of this is overcrowding. It may sound weird, but too many shrimp in a small tank can actually shut down breeding. Overcrowding causes stress, fierce competition for food, and can lead to smaller, less healthy shrimp. You could also end up with a bad male to female ratio. If there are too many males, the competition can get so intense that females get stressed out, hurt, or even killed during mating attempts. The fix is just to be mindful of your population. Start with a good number to make sure you have both sexes. If your tank gets super successful and the population explodes, don't be afraid to thin the herd a bit. You can sell them, give them to other hobbyists, or start a new tank. Keeping a healthy population density and a balanced gender ratio cuts down on stress and helps the colony keep on thriving. And that right there is how I started selling shrimp. So there you have it. 5 of the most common, yet often missed, reasons your shrimp aren't breeding. We've covered kicking out predators, focusing on stable water instead of perfect water, baby-proofing your filter, growing an endless buffet of biofilm, and making sure your shrimp don't have a sausage fest. The journey of shrimp keeping is really a lesson in patience. A lot of the time, the best thing you can do is get the conditions right, then step back and let nature do its thing. That's what shrimp keeping is really all about. Get it set up right for the shrimp, and then let shrimp be shrimp. Don't get discouraged if it doesn't happen overnight. By tackling these simple issues, you're creating a safe, stable, and food-rich home where your shrimp will feel comfortable enough to start breeding. If this video helped you out, do me a favor and hit that like button, and maybe subscribe for more practical tips to help you crush it in this shrimp hobby. And now I've got a question for you. What was the one change that you made that finally got your shrimp to start breeding? Let me know in the comments below. Your experience might be the exact thing someone else needs to hear to find success. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.